Well, there are two parts to that question. The first moment that's imprinted in my mind is when the drawing was complete. The very first drawing, before the instrument was made, before I knew how I was going to make it, was the full-scale drawing. I remember sitting in my living room in my reclining chair, and I was working on it, and I was up a whole night. And I remember, like, after a number of hours, it just came. I've had comments of praise and comments of horror about that design, so I'm aware of the unusual nature of it. But to my eyes, it was a beautiful thing. This is something that I would have purchased had I gone to a pawn shop or, a vintage guitar store. I would have grabbed it and purchased it. That was the idea. So I remember completing the drawing. I still have like this cardboard box, and I drew it on a cardboard box, and I could see it, and I looked at it, and I remember thinking, that's perfect. Then I think like an hour or two later, I went to work. But I was up all night drawing this thing, and with a T-square and a French curve and a pencil eraser, and very basic, simple stuff to scale. So to answer your question, showing the instrument was done in an incremental fashion. It was not all done and then shown to people. So I had someone working with me who was helping me with the company at the time. He was a young man, just out of high school, and today he owns a very big advertising agency. And I think you may know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
So he was a photographer, and so first we got the bodies and the necks. The first instruments were not routed. They were made like the 1948 Supro Ozark. That was the inspiration. So all the electronics, the pickups, and all the controls were mounted in a box on the body. So I just had blank bodies with a neck pocket, and I had blank necks that I don't think were even fretted yet. Maybe they were. And so the first advertisements we made were done with the neck and the body without a fully functional guitar that was shot by this photographer in silhouette from the back because we had to get the ads ready for the NAMM show. So we shot it from behind, and the title of the ad was The Shapes of Things to Come, or The Shape of Things to Come, like the Yardbird song. And so that was like an increment. The increment was seeing the instrument, a neck and body together, and seeing literally we just put tuners on this thing, and if you saw it lit from the front, there was no actual guitar. It was neck and a body. Then I had them finished. I had them assembled to my specs by a very skilled luthier in Philadelphia. And then they were done literally a day or two before we had to go to NAMM. So I saw them for moments, put them in cases, brought them home, shipped them by FedEx or UPS to Los Angeles. And then we met them at the hotel in LA. I think it was that show might have been in Anaheim that year. And the next year was in LA. And we opened the box, and some of them were damaged in shipping. So we had to have some of the tuners were damaged. We had to have some quick repairs done. And I actually came with a local luthier who came with me to the show. So the incremental process was seeing them at the shop when they were completed, opening them up and seeing them, trying them, and then bringing them right to the show. It was really a blur. And the thing that sticks in my mind were two moments at the first NAMM show. There was a journalist from Sweden, from a guitar magazine, who came by, and he looked at the instruments. And he came over to me, and pardon my imitation. He said, "Why you did such a thing? Why you did such a thing? Why you did such a thing to a guitar?" And I thought that was a great reaction. He was like incensed that the Spaceranger design was such a departure from something that he wanted to see. And then the next person came by, an artist, a recording artist, and looked at it and just was like, fell in love and was like melted. So these are two moments that stand out. And then that was repeated over and over, you know, at that first show. And I took a lot of photographs. I have some photos of that day, and those photos stand out in my mind.